I want you to close your eyes for a moment and be honest with yourself. When was the last time your mind was quiet, not busy, not solving, not worrying about the money or the children or the doctor or the news or the thing you said last Tuesday that you wish you had not said? When was the last time you sat in a chair and your chest was loose and your breath was easy and your mind was still, truly still, the way a pond is still on a morning with no wind? If you cannot remember, you are not alone. And if your hands are tight right now, if your jaw is clenched, if there is a knot sitting in your stomach or a lump in your throat that will not go away, if you lie awake at 3 in the morning with your thoughts running in circles like a dog chasing its own tail, then I want you to hear what I am about to say, because it may be the most important thing anyone tells you this year. You are not broken. There is nothing wrong with your mind. Your body is doing exactly what it was built to do. It thinks there is a danger, so it is keeping you ready to run or to fight every hour of every day. And it will not let you rest because it believes the danger is still there. The trouble is, the danger is not a bear in the woods. It is your phone. It is the news. It is the bills on the table and the thoughts in your head at midnight, and your body cannot tell the difference. The old folks almost never had this trouble, and I want to tell you why. Not because they were tougher than you, not because they were better, but because 4 plain things in their daily life kept the body calm and the mind quiet without them ever knowing it. 4 things that have been pulled out of the modern life so slowly that nobody noticed they were gone. And I want to put them back in your hands tonight. It is a Sunday evening in late October. The work is done for the week. Ruth and I are sitting on the porch, and the air is cool, and the crickets are loud, and neither one of us has said a word in 10 minutes. Not because we are angry, because there is nothing that needs saying. The day was good, the work was honest, the supper was plain and filling, and in about an hour we will go to bed and sleep deep and rise with the light and do it again. I tell you this because I want you to understand something. This is not a special evening. This is every evening. This is how the old folks lived, and it is the reason the word anxiety was not in their vocabulary, because the life itself was the medicine. I am Samuel Yoder. I am Amish, and I farm in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. My family came over from the German country and settled on this land in 1838, and they lived quiet, plain, hard-working lives on it, and kept their minds as sound as their bodies. Same as I mean to all, and I want to be straight with you right at the start, the way I always am. I am not a doctor. Real anxiety, the kind that has its claws in deep, the kind where you cannot leave the house or your heart races so hard you think you are dying. That is a real thing, and it is a matter for your doctor. There are medicines for it, and there are good doctors who understand it, and I would never tell you to set that aside. If you are taking medicine for your mind, you keep taking it, and you talk to your doctor before you change a thing. What I'm going to give you tonight is the plain old way the careful old folks kept their minds quiet and their bodies calm. Not a pill, not a cure, just the 4 things that were built into the old life that the modern life has taken away, and that you can put back starting tonight. Now, let me reframe the whole thing, because the modern world comes at this from the wrong end. The modern way is to let the body get wound up tight as a watch spring from the way you live. from the news and the screen and the sugar and the sitting and the not sleeping. And then, when the spring breaks, to go looking for a pill to fix it, you spend the calm down, and then you try to buy it back from a bottle. The old way was the opposite. The old folks did not try to fix a wound-up body at the end. They simply never wound it up that tight in the first place. The food they ate kept the body steady. The work they did burned off the worry. The quiet evenings settled the mind, and the deep sleep mended what the day had worn. They did not fight anxiety. They lived in a way that never let it take hold. And the good news for you is you do not have to be Amish to do the same. You just need to put back the 4 things the modern life took out. The first thing is the food, and this one is plain and simple, and you can start it tomorrow. Your body needs certain things from food to keep the mind calm and the thoughts steady. Without them, the mind runs hot. The worry will not stop. The sleep will not come. And no amount of willpower will fix it, because it is not a willpower problem. It is a feeding problem. You cannot think your way out of a body that is starving for what it needs. The old folks got these things without trying because they ate from a garden. The dark greens, the cabbage, the beans, the eggs, the nuts, the seeds, the whole grains. These carry in them the very things the body uses to keep the mind steady and calm. The things that feed the part of your body that says it is safe. You can rest now. There is no danger here. A body fed on real food from a garden has what it needs to stay calm. A body fed on sugar and packages and fast meals does not, and the sugar is the worst of it. Sugar burns through the very things your body needs to stay steady. The same way a fire burns through wood. The more sugar you eat, the more wound up your body gets, and the less able it is to calm itself down. So the first thing is the plainest thing in the world. Eat real food. Greens from the garden, eggs from the chickens, beans and nuts and seeds and whole bread. Cut the sugar. Cut the packages. Feed the body what it was made to eat, and it will start to settle on its own. Not in a week, not like a pill, but steady over time, the way a wound heals when you stop picking at it. Before I go on, let me pause a moment. The second thing is something the old folks ate every week that most modern folks have forgotten entirely. It is the fermented food. Now, I know that sounds like a strange thing to bring up when we are talking about worry and a racing mind, but hear me out, because this is one of those things that the old folks knew in their bones, and the people who study it are only now beginning to understand. There is a part of you deep in the gut that talks to the brain. The gut and the brain are connected. What happens in the one affects the other. And living in that gut are millions and millions of tiny living things, the good kind, the kind that help you break down your food and keep your body running, right? And those tiny living things in your gut actually help make the very things your brain needs to feel calm and steady and at peace. But here's the trouble. Those living things are delicate. They get killed off by the medicines and the chemicals and the fake sugars in the packaged food and the sprays on the crops. And when they die off, the gut goes quiet, and the brain stops getting what it needs to stay calm, and the worry and the fear creep in. The old folks fed those living things without knowing they were doing it. They ate sauerkraut. They ate pickles. They ate fermented things that kept the gut alive and healthy and talking to the brain the way it was meant to. Ruth makes sauerkraut every fall, big jars of it, cabbage and salt and thyme, nothing more. And we eat it as a side with our meals 2 or 3 times a week, the way Ruth's mother did, the way her grandmother did. It is not fancy. It is not expensive. It is cabbage in a jar, but it feeds the gut, and the gut feeds the mind, and the mind stays quieter for it pacing. So eat the fermented foods, sauerkraut, pickles, kefir if you can find the real kind, a few spoonfuls alongside your meal 2 or 3 times a week. Your gut will be healthier for it, and your mind will be quieter for it, and you will not need a fancy supplement to get what a jar of cabbage gives you for pennies. The third thing is the oldest medicine there is, and it costs nothing at all. It is the getting outside. Now, I know that sounds too simple. I know it sounds like the kind of thing people say when they do not understand what real anxiety feels like. But I am telling you this from a life lived outdoors, and I am telling you it is true. When you step outside and the sun hits your skin and the air fills your lungs and your feet are on the ground and your eyes are looking at trees and sky instead of a screen, something happens in your body, something real, something the old folks never had to name because they never lost it. The body settles, the breath slows, the shoulders drop, the fists unclench. It is not magic. It is what the body was built for. You are not built to sit inside under bright lights staring at a glowing screen reading bad news for hours on end. You were built to walk under the sky with the wind on your face and your hands in the dirt and the sound of the birds over your head. The old folks were outside from sunup to sundown. The sun on their skin gave their bodies something they needed, something that pushes back against the very thing that keeps you wound up and anxious and unable to sleep. And the work itself, the walking and the lifting and the carrying, burned off the worry the way a fire burns off brush. A body that has worked hard outdoors all day does not lie awake at night worrying. It sleeps deep and easy and through the dark. So get outside, walk every day if you can, not to a gym, not on a machine, inside a building, outside in a park, down a road with trees, anywhere the sky is over you and the air is real. 45 minutes, an hour, as long as you can, your body will start to come down from the high place it has been stuck on, and it will do it without a single pill. And the fourth thing, the one the modern world has lost most completely, is the sleep. You cannot calm a mind that does not sleep. You cannot heal a body that does not rest. The old folks went to bed when it got dark, and they rose when it got light, and they slept 7 or 8 honest hours in between, in a dark room with no screen and no noise and no blue light buzzing in their eyes until midnight. And in that sleep, the body did its deepest work. It mended what the day had worn. It settled what the day had stirred up. It put the mind back together after the thoughts had pulled it apart. Sleep is not a luxury. It is the time the body uses to repair itself, and without it, the anxiety gets worse and worse and worse because the body never gets the chance to come down from the high alert. So guard your sleep. Go to bed an hour earlier than you do now. Put the phone in another room. Let the dark come in. Let the quiet settle over you. And if the thoughts come, let them come and let them go. Do not grab onto them. Do not try to solve them. Just let them float past like leaves on a river. They will slow down. They always do. And eventually the sleep will come, and the body will do what it has always done in the such dark mend you. So let me draw the whole of it together for you. Four plain things. First, the food, real food from the garden, the greens and the eggs and the beans and the seeds, and cut the sugar that burns through the calm. Second, the fermented foods, the sauerkraut and the pickles that feed the gut and quiet the mind. Third, the getting outside, the walking under the sky and the sun on the skin that settles the body the way nothing indoors ever will. And fourth, the sleep, deep, dark, honest sleep, guarded like the precious thing it is. Not one of them comes in a bottle. Not one of them costs you much of anything. All four of them were built right into the old life, and the old folks had calm minds and steady hearts because of it, without ever knowing they were doing anything special at all. Now, here's the part nobody makes a dollar telling you. There is no money in telling you to eat sauerkraut, take a walk outside, and go to bed early. Nobody gets rich off that. So that plain old knowledge goes quiet, and into the quiet rushes the whole shelf of pills, the calming supplements in the bright bottles, the stress gummies and the mood boosters and the sleep aids that Tom leave you, foggy, and the focus pills that make the heart race. Every one of them selling you a calm that a plain life of real food and outside air and honest sleep would have given you for nothing. I am not telling you there is a conspiracy. I am telling you something plainer and harder to fix than a conspiracy. The plain, free, honest way of living has no salesman, so it falls silent. And into that silence, the bottles shout from every shelf and every screen. The old wisdom did not get proven wrong. It just had nothing to sell, so it got out, shouted, and now folks spend fortunes trying to buy back a piece that a plain way of living would have kept for them all along. Tell me in the comments below, does the worry keep you up at night? Does the mind run and will not stop? And did your grandmother or your grandfather have a way of living that kept them calm and steady? Did they walk? Did they garden? Did they eat from the land and sleep by the dark? Where did your family come from? And how did the old folks in your line keep their peace? Near every family had such a way, and most of those ways are slipping out of memory for the plain reason that nobody writes them down. So write yours down here. I read every single one. Next video. Since tonight we talked about the plain old ways to calm a worried mind, the next one I want to do is on the old herbal teas the careful folks drank in the evening. The ones that settle the body and bring on a deep, honest sleep without a pill. Same honest rule, what is true, what is just, a nice story, and how we actually make it and drink it. Subscribe so you do not miss it. Until then, tonight, when the worry comes and the mind starts running and the chest gets tight, do not reach for the bottle or the pill. Step outside, take a breath of the night air. Let the dark settle over you. Go to bed early. Let the thoughts float past like leaves on a river. And remember that for 1,000 years, plain folks lived on real food and honest work and quiet evenings and deep sleep. And their minds were steady and their hearts were calm, and they did not need a single pill to feel at peace. The old people did not buy their calm from a shelf. They grew it in a garden and walked it off on a dirt road and slept it deep in a dark room. And that is a kind of wisdom that does not wear out in any house that still remembers it.